Over the years, the world's rich have found increasingly absurd ways to spend ridiculous amounts of money, but nothing quite matches up to the world of luxury yachts. So, what if I told you that there is a class of yachts above even ones you might think are nice? Yachts that only the filthy rich can buy. Yachts the size of cruise ships to have a nightclub filled with champagne partiers on the dance floor and all to even more absurd things like a solid gold-plated hull, a built-in helipad, and even a submarine attachment. These are the 7 most incredible yachts in the world, and at the end of the video we will reveal a yacht that happens to be the most expensive thing purchased in all of history, so stick around to the end to get your mind blown. Number 7. The Serene super yacht built for a literal prince and not just any prince. The Serene yacht is the property of the notorious Mohammed bin Salman, the future king of Saudi Arabia. With a price tag of around $330 million, you can be pretty sure that it lives up to royal standards, and that's not all because while you may think it's just a regular expensive yacht from pictures, this Titanic vessel is actually one of the biggest and most powerful yachts to ever be constructed. Standing at almost 440 feet long with space on board for 24 guests and 52 crew members, as well as parking for 2 helicopters, multiple pools including a jacuzzi and a saltwater pool. This beast earns the title of the Royal Palace on the seas without breaking a sweat, with 8 engines giving it the top speed of 15 knots. The interior is spectacular and was designed by famed designer Raymond Langdon. Anyone who visits the yacht will probably be able to guess that it is owned by royalty, but here's the thing. The yacht wasn't even built for the prince. Instead, it was originally made in 2011 for Russian vodka tycoon Yuri Shefler, which, by the way, is exactly the kind of person who would get this sort of thing. So how did Mohammed bin Salman end up acquiring this thing anyway? Well, in true princely fashion, he bought the yacht on a whim. You see, a few years after Scheffler had owned the yacht, it caught the eye of the young prince while docked in the south of France where he was vacationing. Fast forward a few months and the guy seemed to have fallen in love with it, but then again with stuff like an outdoor cinema hall, a dedicated room just for the on-board grand piano, a whole dance floor, as well as more serious stuff like a conference room for the prince to conduct business in, and even 2 helipads for VIP guests, it's not hard to see why the billionaire royal liked this machine so much. In fact, the thing is so attractive that at one point one of the prospective buyers was none other than the world's former richest man, Bill Gates, who used to lease the yacht for up to $5 million a week before Mohammed bin Salman purchased it. But if you think the Saudi prince has it good, wait till you see the yacht up next. Just another border over an Arabian royal seems to have him beat. So now let's talk about number 7, the Dubai Mega Yacht. The super yacht is currently owned by the Emir of Dubai, the most important of the Emirates in the UAE. The yacht is worth only a mega 20 million more than the previous yacht, and the size of the yacht definitely shows why there is such a big price difference. At almost 550 feet and with a capacity for a massive 178 people on board, including 90 guests, as well as 88 crew members with masseuses, chefs, and all other manner of staff to make the onboard experience as exquisite as possible. And another thing that sets this beast apart is what it was owned by royalty not once, but twice. That's right, this yacht too is secondhand. Being owned earlier by the Prince of Brunei, Jeffrey Bulkiah of Brunei, and boy does it show. From free-flowing decks and dedicated sunbathing areas to a swimming pool that can accommodate 115 people at once, hell, it too has a helipad and has one of the most unique staircases in the world, one made of solid crystal glass that changes color depending on where you look at it. From this massive machine, we move on to another super yacht that's positively lush with obscene features and why it takes this spot on our list. Number 5 is the Flying Fox super yacht, stretching a great distance of 137 meters or 430 feet. While the Flying Fox might not be larger than the Dubai, and trust me when I say that it earns the $500 million price tag it is estimated to cost, you will see that unlike the other yachts on our list, the Flying Fox wasn't built for anyone in particular and doesn't even have a proper price tag. Why? Because it is for charter, of course, that's right, built and operated by the Mercedes of yacht making, Larsen. This thing is not kept in a garage for months between occasional use by a busy billionaire. Instead, it's taken out as often as it can at a rate of over $3 million a week. In fact, the machine is so luxurious that its most recent guests have been the richest couple in Hollywood itself, Jay-Z and Beyoncé, who were spotted on the yacht while they missed the Met Gala. And if that doesn't tell you about what kind of a machine it is, the fact that it has 7,000 square meters of exterior panels all joined without a seam, or curved floors that are heated while still being made of exquisite limestone, and even a giant so called sea lobby, which has a 400 square meter spa pool that can heat you up or cool you down to get ready for a swim. Hell, the boat even has an onboard scuba professionals as well as a hangar for a personal submarine, so that even the most inexperienced tenants can enjoy the ocean from this magnificent castle. So, what could possibly top this? I hope you're ready because the Prime Minister of the UAE might have an answer. The Topaz Super Yacht. As a man who bought the legendary Manchester City Football Club on a whim in 2008, it is not a shock that Sheikh Monsieur Al Nahyan is a fan of spending money, but by far, his most expensive material indulgence has been his purchase of the Topaz yacht. Built once again by the German shipyard Larsen, this machine doesn't look like a lot at first glance, but look just a little closer and it all starts to make sense at almost 500 feet in length. Not only is the Topaz among the longest yachts in the world, it has 8 separate decks with 26 cabins for the guests only, and even a helipad, giant swimming pool, and even a gigantic state-of-the-art gym. It is also one of the most luxurious, and if you're wondering how one gets around 8 floors of what's basically not even a floating mansion but a floating castle. Then there are the twin tender boats that come alongside the yacht for smaller excursions, a jet ski hangar, and even a submarine with technicians and spare parts at hand to take care of it. While at the same time, underneath that cover of luxury is a monster of nautical engineering with almost 8,000 horsepower, providing 12.5 knots of speed, a military-grade navigation system, and even dedicated stabilizers for the seasick, all of which means that somehow, against all odds, the Topaz might be worth the $527 million that the current owner paid for it. But that still leaves one question. If that's what the Prime Minister owns, how incredible would the President's yacht be? Well, lucky for us, that one is actually the very next yacht on our list, the mighty Azam Mega Yacht. A price of $650 million, costing a whopping $130 million more than the previous one. The Azam is not super new, it's not spaceship level high tech either, but it does have a few tricks up its sleeve that no other yacht in the world does. The first one being its size. You see, not only is the Azam one of the biggest yachts in the world at 590 feet, it is actually the largest private yacht in history, and while details are obviously short because of the sensitive nature of the person it belongs to, no one. The yacht is anything to scoff at either. To mention just a few things, the Azam has its own missile defense system, and if that wasn't enough, the Master Suite is also bulletproofed against potential assassins, and while that may make it seem a little brutish, it is also the same yacht whose chandelier doesn't even rattle because of how smoothly it travels. And speaking of travel, just in case all that wasn't enough, the Azam is somehow both the heaviest ever, but also one of the fastest yachts in the world with the ability to travel at an eye-watering 30 knots. And with all of that, let's just say that the next yacht has a lot to beat. Number 2, the Eclipse Super Yacht. So why is it ranked at number 2 over the Azam? Well, let's just say that costing more than twice the Azam, the Eclipse easily shows you why already. But at the behest of the Russian billionaire Roman Abramovich, the Eclipse was designed to be one thing only. The most expensive boat in the world that isn't made of gold. Spoiler alert, so how does it do that? Well, first of all, 536 feet of the yacht's length are bulletproof. Yes, the windows too. Then, just in case there is the threat of a bomb or a knife murderer, the entire thing is laced with intruder alarms, and if all else fails, there is even a missile defense system for the direst of situations. Then there is the more casual stuff like 24 5-star guest cabins, not one, but 2 full-size swimming pools, 2 helicopter pads with interior space for a third, and even a set of 3 launch boats which alone require an additional 70 people on board for maintenance. Hell, it also held the title of the largest yacht at one point until it was dethroned by Azam. But seeing as only one of the 2 costs more than small city budgets, I think it's easy to guess which is the Supreme Yacht, which finally brings me to the end of our video and the last yacht on our list. At number 1, the History Supreme Yacht. Now, the History Supreme is not super large, nor is it too futuristic or even have the most luxurious features. So how did it become the most expensive yacht in the world? The answer can be described in a single word: gold. Yep, you heard me correctly, and to think some lunatics pay a couple of $1,000s for a gold-plated iPhone. The anonymous owner of this yacht sent an earth-shattering 4.8 billion to get this yacht finished with the most precious of metals, from the gold-plated hull to the platinum covers on the railings and anchors. This machine won this list before it even began. To fight against the currents, but in a strange workaround way, with the ocean being unforgiving and gold being uncorrosive, there might be an upside to using the material from the technical side too, and that weird nature is ultimately what makes this yacht so unique. I hope you enjoyed watching today's video, and if you did, make sure to watch our video on the world's most expensive homes. Thank you for watching, and as always, be the lap of luxury, don't sit in it.